Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear brother. The first message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi. How are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I have been thinking like now for a very long time. I think that I need to end my business partner's life. The reason as to why I think that it will be far much better if he dies, it is because we are about to get this other very big contract, and I have been working really hard for me and him, for our company, to get this very big contract. So I do not want him to be there. I don't want him in the picture the time that we are going to be getting this contract, because it is worth a lot of money. And the reason as to why I want him gone, it is because when I started this business, even though I did not have money, but I am the brains that is behind this business. Now that we are about to get this contract, I just want him gone out of my business. The reason as to why me and him, even though we were long-time friends, and I went to him and I told him that I had this other business proposal, a plan that I had in mind, and I just wanted some money from him. Instead of him just giving me a loan that I was supposed to pay back as a good friend is supposed to do, but what he thought of doing was that he then told me that for him to help me out, what I was supposed to do was to include him into the business as an equal partner, because I really wanted some money and I was desperate at that time. I just told him that it was far much better for me and him to become business partners. So, Brother Nashi, that is what I did. But as for now, I've been thinking about it. There are some people that I know that I can hire so that they can just shoot to kill, or I can go to this other traditional healer. But the reason as to why I have come here on your platform, I want your listeners to assist me. Yes, there are those that are going to be very judgmental, but they need to understand where I am coming from. It is not easy to work day and night whilst your friend is sleeping, simply because he has the money and he thinks that he is an equal business partner to you. What am I supposed to do? Should I end his life, or should I just let it go? And I want him dead because I don't want his relative to benefit after he would have died. So I want it done like now. I do not want him to die. This will be after we would have gotten the contract, because the relatives, they would want me to share the money with them. Please assist me. I'll be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Let us try to assist him in the comment section. Then there is another message that was sent to me by our dear brother. The message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? So when I came here to South Africa, I really thought that very quickly I was going to get a job. So I came to South Africa and I stayed for a little while in Johannesburg. And I saw that the situation in Joburg, it was really tough. So I then thought that it was far much better for me to move to Cape Town, because I heard that in Cape Town there are a lot of white people, and where there are white people, so I thought then for you to get a job, it was going to be very easy. So I then traveled from Johannesburg and I then found myself in Cape Town. I did not even know that there are homeless people even in Cape Town. I arrived well in Cape Town, did not even have any money. All the money that I had used it when I bought a train ticket. So I started to wander around Cape Town, not knowing what else was I supposed to do, until I went to the robot, where I was picked up by this other man, but a black South African man. He took me to his house and he said that he wanted someone who could clean his yard, and I cleaned very well. But before I had started cleaning, I explained my situation to him. I told him that there was a problem that I was facing and I was hungry because I had not eaten anything for about 2 days. And he then told his wife to prepare some food for me. And then I ate, and after I had finished eating, that was when I started working. So when I was working, this man, he then came to me again and when he came to me, that was when he told me that he wanted me to work at his plot. So he then took me to his plot and I started staying there. So this man, he was someone who really liked to enjoy listening to stories about witches in Zim. And I told him a lot of these stories because even my own mother was said to be a witch. There were some things that we were being told when we were growing up and some things that we saw. And indeed, this made us to realize that my mom was a witch. Even the day that she passed away, there was something strange that really happened. Even the day that my mom passed away, after we had buried her, her grave was struck about 3 times by lightning and there was no cloud in the sky. And this was not during the raining season. So people indeed said that, you see, this woman is a witch. So I used to tell him all of those stories. When I was telling him all of those stories, that was when he said that he wanted me to take him to Zim so that he can also strengthen himself in business. And him and his wife, they were thinking of investing. They wanted to buy a taxi, so they were scared that if they buy a taxi, this would be after they would have approached the taxi association. So they wanted to be strengthened first before they would have approached the taxi association. So I then spoke with him and I told him that there was a man that I knew, but what was needed was for me to return back to Zim. I had to return back to Zim, and after I would have returned back to Zim, then I will see if I was going to get any kind of help. He gave me some money, it was not a lot, and then I returned to Zim and I spoke with this other man, and he told me that we were supposed to wait for this other woman who is a traditional healer. So we waited for that woman. She came and I consulted with her. And this woman then told me that all that was needed was for me to sacrifice something. And then I had to sacrifice Brother Nashi. I was then told that I was supposed to get married. And after I would have gotten married, my wife, she was going to have at least 2 miscarriages. And each and every time when she will be having a miscarriage, this will mean that the blood will be coming to that traditional healer's shrine. So this traditional healer then gave me a metallic dish, and inside that metallic dish there was blood, but she told me that the blood, it was the blood of a chicken, and I had to wash my hands using that blood. So I bathed my so I then washed my hands using the blood of that chicken, as I kept on telling that Tokoloshi of his that the moment that I'll get married, my wife was supposed to have too many miscarriages. So I then returned back to South Africa. The funny thing that happened was when I returned back to South Africa, I was really hungry. So I then thought of buying some takeaway before I would have returned to that farm where I was working. So I went into this other restaurant and I then bought a So I then went into this restaurant and I then bought some food. When I was about to leave, that was when another guy came to me and he handed me a school bag and said that I had forgotten. This guy, he was working in that same restaurant. I then returned back to that plot where I was staying. This was before my boss. I had told him that I was back in South Africa. And when I opened that bag, I saw that it had a lot of money, like a lot of money. Seeing that I had made so much money, at that time I did not know that this money, it was the money that had been given to me by that traditional healer ATOKOLOSHE. I just thought that it was my good luck. So I quickly ran from Cape Town and I came and I started staying with my other brother who stays in Limpopo. Whilst I was staying with him, that was when I started to notice that sometimes this money, it will vanish, and when it will appear again, let's say if I will be having like 20,000 rands, then when it vanishes for maybe a few minutes, when it will appear again, it will be somewhere around 30 to 40,000. As for my brother, I did not tell him. I lied to him that I had found a job in the suburbs, and then I started staying in the suburbs, and I lied to him that my boss, he was paying me good money, yet there was money that was just appearing from nowhere. That is how I started making money, and I had almost forgotten about it. And I then started dating this other woman and I married her. This woman, she has been having miscarriages ever since that time until right now, and I do not have a child, and I want to have a child. I returned back to that traditional healer, and the traditional healer has since told me that I am supposed to sacrifice my sister because I was supposed to return back to her shrine. So this is the situation that I am facing. Please help me. Should I just sacrifice my sister? Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our dear brother right there. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world.